up, YouTube? It's your girl DeeDee. What's going on, y'all? What's going on? Shout out to everybody in the building. Shout out to you guys. Happy Saturday. Sorry for being late, you guys, but thank y'all so much for being here. Happy Saturday to all of you guys. I hope y'all are doing well. It's been a minute since I've been on here, but shout out to y'all. I'm happy to be here. As you come into the building, make sure you guys hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button. That is super, super important. Oh, Lord God, I can't talk. That is super important. Make sure you guys hit the like button as you come into the building. It definitely helps the channel out, y'all. Put a 1 in the chat if y'all can hear me perfectly fine. Go ahead, put a 1 in the chat if y'all can hear me perfectly fine. I want to make sure that the audio is good, y'all. Please do that. One, if y'all can hear me pretty good. If y'all can hear me pretty good, put a 1 in the chat. All right. Thank y'all. I see the ones. Thank y'all so much. I hope y'all have been doing good. Y'all, a lot has been going on. Have any of you voted? So I voted the other day, right? So voted early. Have you voted? I don't know if y'all voted. Let me know in the comments or in the chat. I want to know if y'all voted already, because that is a crucial thing nowadays. So let me know if y'all voted. Y'all don't have to tell me who y'all voted for, but I kind of have an idea for some of you. But let me know if you voted already, if you early voted. The topic: modern women can't find men they want plus more. No shit. I'm just saying. I mean, what's new? What's new? What's new? All right. So we're gonna talk about it. I have a few clips I want to share with you guys per usual. So make sure you are ready to chime in the chat. Let me know your thoughts. Also, if you are new to the channel and you like the content, hit that subscribe button. It is free to subscribe. Also, share and like the videos as well. And do not forget to hit that notification bell to be notified when I go live or post new content. Okay? So we're going to get into this. Mia Bell says she voted by mail. Okay. Didn't vote yet. Divine Photos. Link Johnson says, I'm going on the 5th. I love the atmosphere that day. Gotcha. All right. So Will Seller says he voted. Corey Adams says, I'm a black man. Trump. Gotcha. Jeffrey Willis says, I voted by mail in ballot. Okay, so you did it by mail in ballot. I think a lot of people do it that way, which is perfectly fine. So, all right. We're not gonna get too much into that, but you know, we see what's going on out here, child. It's a mess, but it is what it is. Every political season is a mess, in my opinion. But yeah. So we gonna hop into this live stream. I have a few clips I want to share. I definitely want to get y'all thoughts on it. Demetrius Sessions says, Demetria from Los Angeles, love your channel. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you. Shout out to Los Angeles. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for being here. And everybody, thank all of you guys for being here. I appreciate you so much. So I'm going to stop talking so much right now. We're going to get into this clip, the first clip that I'm going to share with you guys. Make sure you guys hit the like button. We need to at least have as many people that, you know, as we have in a building, we need to have the equal amount of likes. So hit the like button, hit the like button. It's free. Make sure we are all liking the stream. All right. So, I want to play this first clip because, of course, I want to give my 2 cents on it, and I want y'all to chime in as well on what you think. So I'm going to go ahead and pull it up now. Here we go.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Welcome in. Do you have a question tonight?
So I have a question. So a little bit of backstory. I am
Hold on 1 second,
Oh,
Kim.
yeah.
Do you consent to be on a platform and potentially all platforms?
Yes, I consent.
Okay.
So I am plus size, and I feel like it's like it's making me get in my head about dating. I've actually never had a boyfriend. Up until now, I considered myself a lesbian, but I've been trying to date more men. I've always
Okay, we starting off wrong already. I'm just saying, it's already starting off questionable already. All right. So just wanted to point that out. It's already started a little weird. Okay. So she said she used to be a lesbian, but now she's looking for a man, right? And she pointed out that she's plus size. as we can see, but that's neither here nor there. It's already just starting weird. And but we're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into it. All right. So make sure you guys are hitting that like button, and be ready to chime in. Okay. Let's continue.
I've been bisexual, but I just find that women are a lot more accepting, and I've never really felt the same sort of level of like attraction and want as a woman. So I would love any advice that you could give. I'm almost 400 pounds, but I do, I feel like I look cute. I have a really nice shape. People always tell me that they don't think I weigh that much.
She said, that's a lot. She said she was almost 400 pounds, or she was. That's a lot of weight, and especially depending on your height. If you're short, you weigh about 400 pounds or more. That's a lot of weight to carry. I'm just saying. And and I'm not trying to be mean or anything to anybody. I'm just calling like I see it. When you put your stuff out here, people have a right to have an opinion. That's it. Doesn't make you a bad person. It's just an opinion. But my thing is this: when you say you've been a 400 pounds, or you're about 400 pounds, and you're talking about dating it and you're having trouble, that's a red flag, right? That should raise your spidey senses and tell you that maybe there's something that you need to work on your end, and maybe you might get better results. I'm just saying it could work, could work out, could not. I'm just saying, but it's worth the try. But let's continue. Let's hear some more.
But I think it's more like mental. I know that men want to enjoy my body, but I've never had anyone really want me for me, I guess. And it's also a little bit.
Let me say something to that, because what's her name on YouTube? What is her name on here? Not Janika, the other girl on YouTube. She did a whole video that went viral about bigger girls. I forget everything that she said, but it was about the bigger girls. The men tend to not take them seriously, basically. What is her name? Who did that? It wasn't Crimson Cure. It's the other girl. Her and Danica had a channel together. She did a whole video that went viral about larger women and something similar to this, where the bigger girls, the men don't tend to take seriously. Now, if you're a bigger girl, you got a man, and this is not to you. This is not you. It's for the women, the bigger women who have a hard time finding men who take them seriously, but they'll sleep with them. Because she just said, and that made me think of that. Yes, Ben Cisco, Sister Goddess. Shout out to Sister Goddess. I couldn't think of her name for nothing. Sister Goddess did a whole video that went viral, talking something similar to this about bigger girls and how men don't take them seriously. And this speaks to what this lady is saying right here, where she said men will enjoy her body, means she allows them to enjoy her body, meaning they will have sex with her, but they won't take her seriously. They won't commit to her or claim her. They just want to have them around just to play around with, because it's easier, it's accessible, and it's something, I think, if I'm not mistaken, similar to what Sister Goddess said. They're looking at these women like, basically they don't take them seriously, and they look at them as somebody to just play around with. They don't look at them, and the bigger girls accept that because they don't think that they could get better. Now, I'm not saying this is the case with all larger women, because it's never all. It's just pertaining to this particular situation and possible others, but it's never all. But for the ones who maybe they're insecure and they think that because they are larger, or they realize also that a lot of men don't take them seriously, they're open to, men that they shouldn't be open to. You know what I mean? Because they think maybe they might get something out of it, or they don't believe that they, will ever get the type of man that they really want. So I just think that speaks to a lot of what she was saying. I rock with Ray Moore. Says, I'm a 6'2", 300-pound man, and I'm working to lose weight, basically. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you so much for the support. I appreciate it. Right, but see, 6'2" though and 300 pounds, that's not bad at all. I don't think, because you're tall. But somebody that's short and weighs 400 pounds, that is horrible. That's horrible. But thank you once again for the super chat. But I think Six the Goddess did speak to this, and there is some truth to it. As much as there were the big girls were coming out and defending themselves and saying, "Oh, that is not the case," because I have all kind of men in my DM, and we already know what that means. We already know that doesn't mean serious relationships. It just means that men are trying to get your attention because maybe they want to have sex with you, but they're not really trying to build a relationship with you. So this kind of speaks to that. But let's finish. Go ahead and finish to see what else she's saying. Let's continue.
Difficult to date because I am high earning. I'm a full-time content creator. And whenever I meet guys, I usually tell them I'm a teacher, because I am a Hebrew teacher. But, you get those comments like, "Oh, you're big money, you're this, this, this." And I'm trying to avoid that. I don't even bring them over to my apartment because of that. So I want the truth, and any compliments or not compliments, advice you could give me to level up.
So I will say this. There is a group of men in the world who love plus size women, right? I say most African men, most Caribbean men like a full figure woman. I know that for sure. Have you dated men who are African from the continent? Have you dated Caribbean men?
So I live here in Houston, Texas, and I get approached and stopped. Like literally, they will not let me get out of my car, or like they'll be like blocking me in by Africans all the time.
Really?
But I feel like there's a lot of cultural differences. And, a lot of African men, they expect their women to be like a certain way, like, don't do this, don't do that. And I just find that it never works out. Also, I feel like a lot of African guys, they don't have that like quote unquote swag, They're like, "Oh, there's no girls in my village like you." But I'm like, yeah, I'm not going back to your village. And then
I don't mean, and respectfully, I don't mean an African man who's straight from the continent, who just arrived here this year.
Right.
Maybe someone who's more, they've lived here a bit longer.
Well, and I think the problem she's going to have there too is they're going to want a certain structure. She's talking about a man who saying you can't do this. Okay, the men have standards, and seems to be the hardest thing for a lot of these women to accept, that a lot of these men have standards. So the cultural differences is still going to be it's probably the problem. Cultural differences within the culture. Like there are men within our culture who don't want a certain type of woman, who you don't want a woman who's just going to do whatever she wants to do. And this independent boss chick mindset is still the problem. No matter how long we talk about this, how many times we talk about it, it's all going to boil down to the same thing, in my opinion. And it's going to boil down to a lot of the women making the changes. And not to say that men don't have to make changes. Of course they do. If you don't have your ish together and you trying to look for a woman, you got to make some changes too. But women, that doesn't mean, that doesn't absolve women of making changes themselves. And I think as much as women want certain standards and things from men, they still want men to conform to their ways. And that seems to be a lot of the issues that we're seeing nowadays, because men are not just buckling down or, and conforming to what you want. And I think that's the problem with women. Women seem to think that because they can earn a living for themselves and, take care of themselves, they don't really need a man, but they want one. They want you to just accept them and do whatever it is they want to do. And I think that is really the problem. As we see, there's nothing that's going to change unless women start to change their mentality and just work with each other. I don't think one person or the other should be controlled or, have this like bow down mentality, like, oh, just do what I say and nothing else. I don't think anybody's going to go for that, especially in this day and age. But this is why you have to have a compromise. You have to have somebody with reasonable expectations on both sides, because this my way or the highway type of mentality is never going to work for women and men who are trying to establish relationships in these days. That probably worked years ago and back in the day. And like they like to point out, we are not in the olden days. We're not our grandmothers, and we're not this, and the men aren't their grandfathers and all of these things. Well, it's a different day. It's a different day, and the way things are going, you're gonna have to move differently. And so I think that's what the men are doing, and the women are too. But the women still want men to be more of a traditional mindset, and because they benefit from it. And as much as you hear a lot of women talking about, oh, men benefit mostly from marriages and men benefit from the relationships, there are a lot of women who benefit from these relationships as well. And the reason why there's a lot of pushback is because they want all of the benefit without putting anything in. You know what I mean? And I think that's the problem. And you are in a place where you can give more, where you can contribute, and they don't want to. That's just how I see it. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the chat, but I just see it that way. I think women want all of the reward, but they don't want to put in the work because they feel like they deserve to have this soft girl life and they don't have to do anything. And that is a disconnect when it comes to relationships. So they would rather just have a bunch of men that they're sleeping with and playing around with and spending time with. And even they might be spending money on these men, but it never amounts to anything serious. It never amounts to these men taking these women seriously, wanting to marry them, and then really building a real life, because a lot of these women are not equipped for that. They're not equipped for that type of lifestyle that they think they want. So in many cases, it's probably going to just be best for them to be single and do whatever it is they want to do. Because when you're talking about a real serious relationship, you can't go into it that way, because you're going to end up leaving in anyway. You're going to end up leaving because when you don't feel comfortable or you don't feel like you're benefiting or the marriage or relationship is serving you any purpose because you're not getting your way, you're going to leave anyway. So you might as well just stay single and stop complaining and just make the best of it and stop trying to look for men who you can control, because that's what it ends up being. That's just my thoughts on it. But let's continue.
They've, lived in America a little bit longer. Right. I would say a good 10 plus years. They're more like Americanized, I would have to say.
And then I believe the way that I carry myself and even the way that I speak, I prefer Black men, but they're always like, oh, you date white guys, don't you? And so I work at a synagogue. So most of the people that I'm around are white, but I prefer to date Black. So it's kind of like, people have one perception of me and they tend to put me in a box. But it's kind of hard because I feel like, too quote unquote white, even though I'm fully Black for Black men. But then for white guys, I tend to get fetishized. So
So this would be my advice to you, Ken. If I'm keeping it real, I would want you to drop the weight. I would want you to lose weight.
Okay.
I would want, and you said you're 400 pounds, right? Ken?
Okay.
365 pounds. And for any women that are looking for plus size clothes, follow me because I post every day.
All right. So I want us to get the weight down. Can we start with 100 pounds? Can we start there?
So I actually lost 130 pounds 2 years ago, and I was getting approached a lot, but I feel like a lot of women go through like body dysmorphia, and people were treating me so differently that I almost didn't know how to handle it. Like it was giving me a lot of anxiety. So I do believe if I dropped weight, it would be helpful. Even my mother says that. She's like, well, if that's the only thing you think that, is not working for you, change it. But I felt like even when I changed it, I was getting approached by more men, but not like the quality of men that I would want.
Well, because you need to drop like 300 of them pounds. Hell, I mean, shout out to her for losing weight, because that's a big deal. But girl, you need to drop more. Like you can't. Okay, so was you 500 pounds before and you lost 100, and then now you're what was it? You still can't be 500, 400, 300, 200. You got to lose a lot of weight and really get that together. If you trying to really attract a higher caliber man, all those sizes are still big. I'm just saying. I'm not trying to be mean. I hope it don't sound that way. That's still big. So you still gotta you gotta lose some more. So you don't stop there. You got to keep working on yourself and working on your mentality and all that. Because even just because she's a bigger woman, it doesn't mean that that's your only issues. You might still have some other issues too that you need to work on too. Is So, and I understand it's a big difference if you coming from a larger woman, there's a certain attention or lack thereof that you get versus when you lose a lot of weight, you're treated differently and it might be, too much to handle. I can see that because I've seen situations where there were large women who lost a lot of weight and they started, getting more attention. And then they said they started getting, envious looks from other women and they didn't know how to handle all of that or whatever. I can get that because it's a new thing. If you come from not getting attention from men and then all of a sudden you're getting it, or you don't know what to do with that, I can see that being a thing. But I think that would be something more that you can work on than the other way. You know what I'm saying? Because listen, it's more of a health risk that you're dealing with, and with your own body. So you would think that would give you more motivation to lose the weight, to be more healthier and not, worried about all that other stuff, But I get it. Let's continue.
And what type of man do you want specifically? How much money does he make? What's his lifestyle like? What is his character? Can you describe that for me?
For sure. Definitely a high earner just because I am. I over 100K a year, which is kind of hard. I'm honestly not too big on like finances. I mean, of course I am, but I feel like with men, especially Black men, some of them are just not there yet. But I care about education. On my dating apps, when I use them, I always try to filter out people that have a graduate degree or above. High earning. I am not too big. I mean, of course, got to be cute in the face, but I'm not against dating someone who's bigger because I am bigger. But really, fun, a sense of travel and adventure. I actually went on a 30-day road trip to Alaska, so I don't have a regular job. I want someone that can, be free, kind of like how I am. And my mother told me I should go to Afrotech to meet some guys because I'm here in Houston. But
those dudes in Afrotech, they're not going to be checking for her. I'm just saying, those dudes at Afrotech already spoke out and said, no, don't come our way. I'm just saying, they already aware of certain types of women and that the women realize that those men make good money and they are, decent looking, nice looking brothers over there and all their types of men. They're like, don't come over here. We are aware of what's going on and we don't want no parts. So they don't want no parts of that. Just saying, look somewhere else. Let's continue.
Someone that just has their shit together, I feel like now a lot of women are like, oh, he has to make this and do this. It's honestly kind of hard sometimes just finding a man that has a solid job, his own apartment, and a car. So I just want someone who is a full functioning adult and, can have a conversation. There was a man about 3 months ago who actually...
Before you tell me that, sorry to cut you off, Ken, about that you met 3 months ago, I want you to know, and it's unfortunate that we live in a superficial world, and I'm not saying you don't look beautiful or you don't keep yourself put together, because I think you do, right? But I want you to know we live in a superficial world, and I want you to know exactly what you're asking for exists. However, you have to change who you are to get that guy.
Girl.
So there are men who make 100.
Now I'm glad. Shout out to you, Ashley, because I think that's just the truth. I mean, you have to put more effort into your look and your mentality and everything. If you want a certain type of guy or a certain caliber of guy, you got to be a certain caliber of woman. You just can't be sloppily fat and just don't care about calories and your weight or anything like that and just look however you want to and think you're supposed to go get this man with all these qualities. No, that's the problem. That's why there's limitless amounts of women that go on these shows because that's how many women are out here single, struggling and complaining about finding a man. A lot of them can't find what it is they're looking for because you don't measure up for that type of guy and they hate to say it. And listen, as much as they hate to hear it, it's the truth. You hate to acknowledge that that's just the truth. That's all. I'm not saying that all the men are just so great and there are no deadbeats or there's no horrible dudes. No, I'm pretty sure they exist. They're out there too. They're not, all the men aren't just so great. There's some no good ninjas out there too. But you gonna keep attracting those because that's what you qualify for. So you got to start getting yourself to a certain level so that you can get the man that you want. That's all everybody has been saying. Kevin Samuel said it and many others have said it and keep saying it. and they hate to accept it. You can be 400, 500, 600 pounds and get on here and speak. And there's nothing wrong with having a preference. Don't get me wrong. Her preference is her preference, but you got to understand that your preference has a preference. I don't know why that's so hard to accept. Your preference has a preference. And usually what these women are going for, their preferences are not preferencing them. You know? And they're trying to look around the big red flag and look at it and say, wait a minute, it's me. In order for me to get what I want, I got to upgrade myself. As opposed to thinking that I'm the prize and I'm so special and I'm just above everything and I can get whatever I want. Because I'm me and I know me and I know I'm this and I believe and I feel and I know that I'm this and that. But you still can't get the man that you want. So I just think that's why there's so many women that are single, and you have to accept that and own that or do something about it. You know what I mean? Men who have standards, they are looking for women with standards. And I think a lot of the focus, as I always say, is always on the amount of money and this and that. Well, if you want these men who make that certain, it is, to me, see, I don't look at the money. Because when I'm talking about men, I'm not talking about the bottom of the barrel. And I think that's what we hear so often, which I have another clip that's going to point to that. When these women have dealt with the bottom of the barrel a lot of the times. And so that's all they know. When we talk about good men or men who have standards, we're not talking about the Pookies and the Ray Rays. Well, at least I'm not. It's like they've dealt with so many Pookies and Ray Rays, and now they feel like, for whatever reason, now that the Pookies and Ray Rays, they got tired of sleeping with them and giving them babies. Now they want a better man, but you have not leveled yourself up. And leveling up don't mean a wig and a BBL. Just saying. That's not leveling up. Leveling up is not you selling lashes online and getting a BBL or whatever, or getting a business or making good money and getting a BBL and dressing like the Magic City girls. That's not leveling up. And I think they've got it misconstrued. They really think that that's leveling up, but that's why they still having a hard time finding the type of men that they deem best for them. You can have your preference all day. I'm not mad at you having a preference, but once again, your preference has a preference. And I don't think a lot of women consider that. What's going on, Classy Perspective? How you been? Says pelvis crusher. Child, shaking my head. That is a pelvis crusher. I'm just saying, shout out, not trying to be mean. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. Yeah, but I'm just saying, your preference has a preference. And I think it's what the route that I think a lot of women take is, well, if I'm not your preference, then keep it moving. They get an attitude, and then start to use shaming tactics to try to shame the man's preference. And I just don't think that you should be doing that, because it is what it is. Farrell, what's going on? Farrell says she needs to be on my Yokozuna life reality show. Y'all, don't you start, Farrell. Thank you for the super chat. Y'all crazy. Thank you, Farrell. 1972 OG Tony says they hate their gender roles. I guess like cook and clean. Why would a man choose a woman who can't cook for your seed? Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. Exactly. I mean, yeah. Once again, these are modern women. They don't want to have anything to do with that, because they got to be outside all the time. The popular thing amongst them is to, you got to look a certain way. You got to dress a certain way, that Magic City uniform, everything got to be revealing and super tight. And, it's a look, straight bust down, what they call it, straight middle part bust down, it's a certain look to it. And while a lot of these women are attractive, like all of them aren't just, they're nice looking women, a lot of them, the way they're presenting themselves and the way they're going about it in a way in which they think is attractive to the type of men that they want is why a lot of them are single. Ray Green, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you. Classic perspective says, DeeDee, I'm sorry. The man she wants don't want to be seen with a woman this big in public, in front of their peers. I agree. 100%. Thank you so much, Classic, once again. I agree. Straight up. I mean, and this is the part that they don't want to accept. This is why that accountability thing goes so far, because thank you once again, Classic perspective. A lot of these women are in denial. They're in denial. You don't want to accept the truth. And like I said, nothing's going to change until you accept the truth and do something about it. They all are princesses and queens and the prize. No matter how big you are, no matter what you look like, and this is why they feel comfortable going on social media and going on these platforms saying their preference, because they believe and feel that they are entitled to it. All right, y'all. We got 81 likes and 45 people watching. So make sure you guys go ahead and hit the like button for your girl. Please hit the like button. So I just think that is the issue for the ones who are still single out here, looking for somebody, and they're having a hard time finding it. It's because you are not their preference, and I think they're trying to think in their minds like, how can I not be this man's preference? You know, I think they're thinking really hard, and I think that they're really trying to like grasp why these men don't take them seriously. They don't get it, even though you know what it is, but you still don't want to accept it. So they're pondering. I think they're pondering, and they're in denial, and they're confused. And you know, when you're in denial, you want to block that truth. You don't want to see that truth card. You don't want to see that. You want to push that way out of sight, because you don't want to initially accept that that's what it is. You want to manifest what you want it to be. You know, to hell with reality. You got to go into this delusional world to try to manifest in this delusional place that what you want is possible, and you don't have to do much to get it. Meaning 300-400 pounds, you know, whatever it is, you still see it possible, or see the possibility of you getting this nice 6-figure man who looks great, who comes in and he's just everything that you've imagined, everything that you've dreamt of, everything that you see on social media, in the movies. Like he's your ideal man. He's the man for you. He's the one that you envision and dream and at night, that is your knight in shining armor. He's the one that comes in and is your ideal man. So you're going to manifest and believe that you can get that because society told you that you can manifest anything that you want. But the part that they never stress or say is what part you need to play and what you need to do in order to get it. And that's the problem I think a lot of people are having. A lot of women are having. So now some of them are lost in the sauce. Some of them are like, you know, just giving up and saying, oh, well, no good men exist. And you know what? I'm just happy being single, and I'm single by choice. No. And I'm not saying that there aren't women who may be possibly single by choice. What I'm saying is there are a lot of these women who don't have any other choice. Bottom line. But they're not going to tell you that. They're not going to say, oh, I'm single because no man wants me. No, they're going to, because they don't want to say that. Everything is is a lie, smoke and mirrors. So you're not going to say, oh, I've looked for men and the men that I want didn't want me, or men out here just don't want me. You're not going to say that. So you're going to say, oh, I'm single by choice and I'm happy being single, while all the while still going on dating apps and still out here trying to find a man that can meet your expectations. So the delusional aspect of it all is why a lot of these women are single. I don't care what nobody says. Paul Harrison, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you coming through with the generous super chat. Says, hey, DeeDee, respectfully, you're rocking that sweater. Looks good. Regarding larger women, here's a part of the problem. Body positivity. It gives these women a reason not to lose weight and get healthier. Straight up. Straight facts once again. And I talked about that as well. Thank you once again, Paul, for the generous super chat. I appreciate you, sir. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, that's made a lot of these women who are having a hard time breathing think that they're 10s and think that they're, above average, and they move as such. And I'm not saying that you as a woman you have to settle, but you have to be realistic. If you know you're overweight and you can't barely breathe and you got to wear a mask at night when you go to sleep so you won't, drown in your sleep. I'm just saying, like, you got to understand that the man you want you may not be his pick. And also understand that, yes, it might be hard because a lot of, and I'm just keeping it 100. A lot of, I'm going to say, these particular women don't want to go through anything. They don't want to do anything. They don't want to work on themselves because it's too hard. It's too much work. Most people who have let themselves get to that point of obesity, that's going to be, look at 600-pound life. They struggle. It's a struggle. For some, it's a struggle to lose 20 pounds. Now, if you got hundreds of pounds you got to lose, that's got to be a struggle. That's very difficult. And who wants to do all that? Then a lot of them don't want to do that. Now, there's some who put in the work. I'm not talking about you putting in the work. I'm talking about the ones who just want to accept the narrative that, you're perfect in your skin. No matter how stretched out and big it is, it's okay. You're beautiful just the way you are. That's fine if you want to live your life like that and that's what you want to do and you're comfortable in your skin and you going to be by yourself, then that's fine. But if you're looking for a man and saying that men should accept your body positivity and they should come in and date you, even if you're not their preference and even if you're not a part of their standards, then that's what he should do because that's what they know. That's where the problem comes in. Thank you once again, Paul. That's where the problem comes in. A classy perspective says the question that needs to be asked past preference is this: what is your dating reality, child? That's where you're going to find, a bunch of non-responses and shaming. Because once again, they know what their dating reality is. I refuse to believe that these women don't see what the reality really is. They just don't want to accept it. You see, because you're not getting the outcomes, and no matter what you're doing, that's why they get frustrated. And at the fact that nobody, and try to shame men and make all men look like they're the problem, make it look like, oh, all these men are just this and that. When there are a lot of good men out here with standards, though. See, they have standards, and that's the part that y'all don't measure up to, and that's why y'all can't get them. Thank you once again, Class's perspective, for this super chat. Let's continue.
100K plus who are educated, who want to travel, who read books, who can engage in intellectual conversations, right? They do exist. But I think you can open up and change your reality when we change ourselves, right? So I want us to work on our weight. I want us to drop the weight. And as you're losing the weight, just so it doesn't feel like, how do you say, like, wow, overwhelming when you're losing the weight, I want you to go to therapy and get you a fitness trainer and listen to affirmations while you're going through the process. Does that make sense?
Do all that.
Definitely.
But this is only your reality. I'm not saying, again, you can't attract a quality man. But this is your reality because of who you are right now. That doesn't mean you're not beautiful. But I know if we work on ourselves more, when we lose a bit of weight, it changes our world. It changes the options. Okay? And this goes for all the women watching. All the women. You don't even have to be 300. You could be 150 pounds and go down to 130 pounds, and that'll change your dating options. This goes for all ladies at any weight class. And so you were saying about a guy you met 3 months ago.
Yes. So I met a guy 3 months ago and he was like, you're a good woman. I'm a good man. Like, he really wanted to date me. And I was like, okay, this is what I've been wanting, like someone that actually wants a relationship. But he was so boring. Like, literally, it was like talking to a wall, like watching paint dry. And I will agree that I probably like slept with him too soon. But it was like, if we are going to be in a relationship, I need to see if it's like good or not. I mean, it was okay. But it's like after we like had, intercourse. That's all he could think about. And
Hold
my
on, Kim. Hold on, Kim.
Yeah.
Kim, you over here talk about men sexualizing you, but you saying you got to test the eggplant first. Hold up now. So you want demon time too?
See what I'm saying?
This was like after a month, and he was like pressing me to be in a relationship. I was like, I don't even know I'm like, I don't know. Like he was, maybe because I hadn't had anyone that wanted to be with me like that before. He was so adamant. He wanted me to be his girlfriend. I was like, wait, this is like too much for me.
Nah, girl, you said you had never been in a relationship before. Now you got a man who's trying to claim you and be in a relationship with you, and now he's too boring. And you see, this is what I be saying. See, a lot of these women ruin their own opportunities. Let's just be honest. And they hate to ignore everything. Oh, these ninjas out here are just so bad. And oh my God, these men need to level up. They ain't this and that. But y'all don't never look at yourself. And a lot of these women speak as if they have no flaws. I say it. I'm so tired of saying it, y'all. To be honest with you, it's like beating a dead horse. It's kind of like at that place where I'm just tired of addressing it, because it's like there's no getting through. It's like they talk as if they have no flaws. They speak about men like the same things that maybe some of these men do that women don't do. And that drives me crazy. Like, y'all act like y'all are perfect. Y'all don't make no mistakes. You have no skin in the game. It's all the men and y'all. And then when we hear the stories, then we see all the mistakes that y'all make. Now, you wanted a man to be in a relationship with you. You found one that was a good guy and said, come on, let's do this. And you said he was too boring, and you trying to get to the sex because that's all you used to doing. And that's another problem too. You probably been out there and you're used to moving a certain way with men and moving too quickly, probably. And because you need that to be right and all that, the focus is always off. The focus is off. The focus is not on the things that where it should. It's not on what they should be on. And I think that's another red flag and another problem for these women as well. Your focus is on the wrong things, and then you wonder why you're single. You keep passing up guys that might be something good, not realizing you in particular don't have all these options and opportunities, honey. And then when you're sitting somewhere and nobody's checking now, you're wondering where they at? What happened to all the good men? No, you don't really want that, y'all. A lot of these women just want to be for the streets. Damn, you think a lot of you so used to the streets that's where they keep going back to, because they don't know how to be in relationships. I'm just saying. And when you talk about a man boring, that blows my mind too. What's so boring about him? What you are? So are you the star of the show? Why don't you create the scene? If he don't know what to talk, you create the scene. You create the atmosphere, and then and then allow him to get. Maybe he's just not comfortable with you yet. You create the scene. If you got all this charisma and you got all this entertainment skills or whatever, you'll be the star of the show and bring him into it. Why is it all of this have to be on the men to be your entertainment and to do all this stuff when a lot of these women don't, are quite boring themselves? I'm just saying, are you jumping on tabletops, doing this and doing that what are you doing? Like they don't want, like I said before, they want these men to be jumping around all day, doing the most to make you happy 24/7. That is nah. When a lot of these women have confessed and confirmed that they don't even know how to hold a conversation with a man themselves. So we got to understand what's good for the goose is good for the gander, which means if you're saying he can do certain things, remember you can do certain things too. Just because they like to point out the things that men do negatively or don't do, there are a lot of women who don't do certain things in the right way and have a negative mentality and attitudes as well. So this happens on both sides. It's not just all the men, but these women once again want to paint the narrative that men are all the problem and they're just perfect, honey. But we'll say, oh, I'm not perfect, but you talk as if you are, because you don't point out your flaws. Hell, we see they can barely name 3 flaws. Every flaw is not a flaw. It's actually a compliment. So they're not even, they don't have flaws. Their flaws complement themselves. They end up complimenting themselves, which is it's insane to me. It really is. It doesn't make any sense. So you're self-aware, you're overweight, you're clueless for the streets, all kinds of things going on. But the men need to do this, need to do that. I'm not with it. I rock with Ray Moore says, why does the sisterhood approve this type of behavior? Men are the buyers. Women have to give a product that's worthy of being bought, but most can't. Woo, child. I mean, I couldn't have said it any better. That's just what it is. That's just what it is. They want you. They think that because they have. Thank you once again for the super chat. I appreciate you. I rock with Ray Moore. Because they're used to men just accepting them. You know, they're used to men just being okay with what they do and their behavior. And now that men are saying, nah, we not accepting that. We tired of that. Either they got messed over by a chameleon or a woman who's just who messed them over. Now they're like, nah, I don't want to keep going through this. So as much as women like to say, oh, I would rather be single to deal with this, well, I think a lot of men are showing that as well. They rather go the opposite way, to the point where a lot of men aren't even giving these women eye contact because they see you coming from a mile away in your 304 uniform. So it's a lot that I could say that I think, in my opinion, that women could change. There's a lot of things that I'll probably do another video on that just separately. Things that women can change to give them a better chance of getting what they want. Just so if there's some women out there who may not be aware of what to do or how to give yourself a better opportunity to get what you want, I think it'll help somebody. You know, it might help you to get the outcome that you're looking for. Because you can't just sit up here and think that because you got a BBL and you got a job, that's the only thing that's needed for you to get a man who to take you seriously. And this idea, once again, that, oh, I could get a man to sleep with you. But we don't have that many women, especially in our community, that are married to and have committed relationships, that are meaningful. Everything now is a transactional situationship. This woman right here clearly just told you she never been in a serious relationship. That goes for a lot of women out there, which is unfortunate in my opinion. Pharaoh, thank you once again for the super chat. Says, to be honest, American Black women nowadays ain't worth it anymore. That's why Africans got my love. We still got pro-Black women, but it's a scarce demographic. Right. Exactly, Pharaoh. I agree with that. I mean, it is. I mean, because, look, there are more, from what they're saying, there are more women than men. There are more women than men. And a lot of these women who are single are having a hard time finding a man that they want. And the type of men that they want is scarce as well. But that's scarce too. There are more women than men, but then the type of men that they're looking for, 6 figure, 6 feet tall, 6-pack, perfect, that's even a smaller number. So I'm not surprised that a lot of these women are having a hard time finding what it is that they want, because in my opinion, what they want is delusional. It's just delusional to me. That's just me. I think there are a lot of them are delusional. That's just my thoughts. Thank you once again for the super chat, Pharaoh. I think a lot of them are just too unrealistic and delusional. I think this society has made these women think that this hot girl summer is where it's at, and we just need a rich man, and there's not, the rich men are not trying to go for these women who are asking for them. I'm just saying. Pharaoh says, I cannot wait to go to Senegal and get married. Thank you once again for the super chat, Pharaoh. And let me know when it happens too. Thank you once again. Classic Perspective says he's boring yet still got the sex. Exactly. Right. And this is what I say. This is why I say the nature of women is very confusing. Thank you once again, Classic Perspective. I appreciate you, sir. A lot of what these women do is confusing. They're very confusing and conflicting. A lot of things that they say, they contradict themselves, shall I say. And that's the nature of a lot of women, to be honest. A lot of women contradict themselves. You say one thing, you do something else, and then complain when you don't get the outcome. It's like, what do you want? You want a magic man? Yeah. You want a magic wand and a magic man and just come in and be, that's what I'm saying, perfect. He got to match everything that they want. He got to have the swag. They got to do it. I mean, you're not going to get a perfect man because there ain't no perfect people, in my opinion. I don't think nobody's perfect. I think your situation can be perfect in the dynamics that you create, but a perfect person, no, we're all flawed. And if you can find somebody who both of you can work together in the parameters of the relationship that you establish, knowing that, hey, yeah, she's not perfect, but she has all the qualities that I need. And the things that she's imperfect in, it's okay with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could deal with those. And the same for a man. He's not perfect, but he's perfect for me. Like, he's not perfect. He doesn't have, have it all, because none of us do, in a sense. If you have money, right? You can have all the money in the world, rich, right? That still, to me, don't mean you have it all. That means you're rich, you're established financially. But who are you as a person? You could be a jacked up human being. You could be a delusional man. You could be you could be a crazy person. You could have other flaws. To me, it just determines on what those flaws are. Are these some flaws that I can accept and be okay with? And I just love this person in spite of that? Or do they have some flaws that are detrimental to my livelihood and others? Can I deal with that, or do I want to deal with that? To me, that's what it boils down to, because all these superficial things it's not it. And to me, I don't care if it's man or woman. If you're superficial in a way that is hindering you from getting what you want, in spite of other qualities that are more pressing, you know what I mean? Other qualities that are more beneficial and that will work, then I think no matter who that person is, you're going to find yourself by yourself. That's just my thoughts on that. Darius, thank you for the super chat, says, when you ask these women, what are their three flaws? They can't answer the question like Kamala Harris. Exactly. Kamala could never answer a question, baby. Right. Because they don't believe that they're flawed. They really don't. I'm perfect. And why can't you just see that? Why can't you just accept me, take me as I am? That's why they say that. And meanwhile, it's somebody with 3 stomachs, 500 pounds, sitting there saying, take me as I am, child. I'm everything in 10 bags of chips, and you can't tell me nothing different. You better level up, because I make 6 figures. So you make 100 pounds, 100K. I said 100 pounds. You make 100K as a woman, right? But you 500 pounds, girl. I mean, I don't give a damn how much money you make. Who wants a big, like Classy Perspective said, who wants a big woman around his big and breathing like that? I don't think nobody really want that. I'm just saying. Now, if you are a chubby chaser, or you somebody who like large women, I'm not talking to you. Like what you like, but I'm saying there are women out here who are trying to force that onto men who don't want it. If y'all can't, and this is why I think, once again, thank you once again, Darius. I appreciate you. This is why a lot of women don't want to go on these walks. They're like, to hell with a walk. I don't want to walk because I ain't gonna be able to breathe. My bad. We'll go to walks here. Let's go eat. Let's go eat. A walk? Who you talking to? Me? Do I look like I walk? Anyway. Dang. Classy Perspective, thank you for the super chat, says they have degrees but want a provider. Right. Which proves why men don't care for their money. They're intelligent and speak proper and is around good quality men, yet is on an internet show looking for those men that basically that's in their face, shaking my head. Right. Because that shows you men ain't checking for them. Thank you for the super chat, Classy Perspective. I appreciate you. I mean, Classy, that's what I'm saying over and over and over again, and what others are saying over and over and over again. Those men are not checking for you. You're not their type. Those men have a preference and they have a type as well. And a lot of these women who are looking for those, you don't fit the bill. And when these men find the types that they like and they end up with them and they see it, it's almost like they feel some kind of way, because usually it's an attractive woman who's slim, fit, just an attractive woman. And they know if they put themselves up against the women that these types of men are picking, they know they don't measure up, but they're not going to say that. Thank you once again, Classy Perspective, for the super chat. Let's continue.
Also, maybe I wasn't really feeling him like that, but he bought me jewelry for my birthday and like did all the things that I wanted, but he just wasn't for me. So it was
Well, why wasn't he for you? Was it his
Good
looks?
question.
What was it that changed after you guys had sex? What changed?
he just wasn't really interesting. I feel like I'm someone that gets bored kind of quickly. And I'm not trying to say like I was just like, oh, I just kicked him to the curb. Ashley, he was so boring. You know, whenever you sit with someone and y'all have nothing to talk about, like you have nothing in common, or whenever you're really holding the conversation and then you stop and then the conversation just drops. I really want to be with someone where we can actually have a bond, like have a friendship, you know, not just let's do it. And
But wait, Ken, outside of, intimacy, was he taking you on dates? Was he doing things for you? Was he making sure you were okay? Were you guys, trying different hobbies, doing different things? Was he bringing you flowers, cards, and candy? Outside of being boring, did he check those boxes?
yes.
So he was doing all of the things that most women want from a man, but he was boring. So you cut him off because he was boring. That's what you're telling me, Ken.
I cut him off because I didn't think he was very emotionally available and he was boring. My car got broken into and I was really, really upset because they stole some very sentimental things that you can't just rebuy. He was like, oh, don't worry about that. I can just buy them for you. And I was like, you're not understanding. I'll never be able to get those things back. Like they meant a lot. And he was like, oh, I know how to make you feel better. We can just have sex. You probably need to have sex. And I was like, is the only way you know how to make a woman feel better to have sex or to buy her something? And I told him I needed more like emotional connection.
Girl, look, this is the thing. The only emotional connection y'all had was sex. So if you start out like that and you're dating somebody and you jump into the bed with them, that's the real connection, that only connection that you're going to have. I don't think these women understand or realize that you have to, with a relationship, you have to build up on this stuff. People don't just come out the gate just doing all this stuff. What you want them to cry and give you hugs and say, what? I'm going to go find the person who took it and get it back for you? What you want these people to do? She said she never had been in a relationship, so she probably don't know how to build and establish a relationship with a man. So y'all are looking for too much from these men that y'all barely know. You gotta build, or that's what building a relationship is about. Getting to know the person, getting to know their quirks and their thing, ins and outs and how they move and the things they like, the things they don't like. If you find a guy who is giving you a lot of the things that you've been looking for, why not try to build on with him? Because guess what? You're not going to get too many opportunities like that. So when these women are saying a man is boring and now he wasn't emotionally connected or any of that, that's a bunch of BS. Most men don't talk a lot. In my opinion, I think most men are considered boring. You know why? Because they're not jumping around like jumping monkeys trying to please you all day. That is not their job. They have things that they have to focus on. This is the part I don't understand. Now, men have fun, but they have fun with the women that they chose to be with and want to be with. Y'all go out and do things, but every day shouldn't be a jumping monkey trying to make you happy and having fun. Yeah, all this kind of shit. That is not what a relationship is, and that's not what a man is. That's what you go hang with your girlfriends for, and you have fun with them like that. But also, these women don't give the relationship building process a chance. Y'all don't stay with the person long enough to learn them and build with them and to get to that point. Y'all just want the man out the gate who you known him for 2 weeks. You want him to just be all this stuff. And maybe that's not where he's at in life. You don't know nothing about him. Maybe he got some other things he's going through or concerned about, because a lot of men don't, disclose or divulge all of their personal, intimate situations or whatever is going on in their lives, but they might be dating. But these women looking for a show. You looking for a I don't know what the hell they looking for. You want a kid. You want a person running and jumping all the time. Most men are not like that. I'm just saying, they're not. Classy Perspective says 6 feet, 6-pack, but they weigh 6 packs of groceries. Right? You 600 pounds and you want a 6-pack. You want 6 packs, child? Go sit down. So I have several damn seats. That is very delusional, in my opinion. Thank you, Classy. Mia Snell says, thank you so much for the super sticker. I appreciate you. You know, it's just the expectation and a delusional aspect is just insane to me. Jeffrey White says, just wanted to show you love. I love your content, baby. Thank you so much, Jeffrey. I appreciate you for the super chat. Thank you so much for being here too. Thank you. I appreciate you. Yeah, it's just crazy to me. Yeah, they really want men who just, I don't know, just to go to men who gonna act like they feel. Y'all have all these feelings. You want the man to just be all these things. You want to be masculine and feminine. You want him to be fun all the time and jumping in. I don't know what they want him to do. I really don't. But I just think a lot of these women, you could tell, don't understand the nature of men. You don't understand what men got to go through. You don't understand how men think and how they are. And this is why they're going to continue to be by themselves. Because if that was a decent guy that she said was trying to be in a relationship with her, she messed that up because she's used to the streets and she's never had a relationship. So she wouldn't know a good one if she saw him. You know, he's missing something. He's too boring and he's too this. Because y'all out in the streets too much. So if you outside all the time, that's all you looking for, a fun time, because that's all you ever get. So now you want the man that's stable and reliable, and the man that you want to be a fun, like the fun time dude. See, the fun time guys are going to be different from a stable man who you are really with, because he has priorities. He has things that he has to focus on, and he has a time and a place for all of this. Yes, it doesn't mean that he's gonna, he can't have fun. It means when fun time is permitted, and that's when y'all have a time for that, that's when that's going to happen. Other than that, he's focused on what he needs to do to provide for his wife, his family, and things of that nature. I think women take that way too lightly, the responsibilities that men have. And if you're looking for a stable, good man, and he's really about his business and his family or potential family and all of that, he has to stay focused. Now, not to say, at the end of the day, y'all unwind and y'all got time, you don't kiki and laugh and have fun. Yes, that comes, but that's that's when you've established a relationship with the man. I don't know. These women looking for popcorn love. You looking for something right out the gate to just be everything that you want as soon as you meet them. That's not how that go, baby. That's not how that works out, love. And I really wish they would understand it, because maybe they could get something a lot better if you start understanding what a relationship is supposed to look like and what you should be looking for. Because this is not it. Just saying. Let's continue.
And I gave him like a month to get it together, and it never happened. And we didn't have sex until after like a month or so of talking. And I'm not going to lie, he was still boring. But, I wanted to see if I could really get with it. And I could not. I do have one question for you. I would like to know if you have any advice about how to feel more confident going out by yourself. Because of my job being a content creator, which I'm sure you can relate to. I mean, I see you going out and stuff, but I tend to feel very isolated sometimes in my apartment. Like, I literally have so many boxes that I need to unpack. And whenever it comes time to go out, I'm feeling like a recluse. Like, I'm normally very extroverted. Everyone in the comments like, oh, she's just a yapper. Like, I'm social, but I've become a lot more withdrawn. And I'm not sure if it's because of my weight or if there's any ways I can just feel more confident. Like, I always try to look cute when I go out, have my hair and stuff done. And I've been having better experiences lately, but it's just a lot.
Yeah, I would say definitely when women start to feel this, in my experience, after speaking to thousands of women on this live and in one-on-one calls, I know for sure when we don't want to go out, it's because of our weight. It's because of the conversations we're having with ourselves, like a self-esteem thing. So once we get this together, right?
Now, that's what we call insecurities. That's insecurities. That's you being insecure. And as much as women like to call men insecure, a lot of these women are very insecure. That's what that is. That's called insecurities. You are insecure about the way you look, the way you feel, the way others view you. And so you kind of, remove yourself from doing as much because you don't feel comfortable. But at the same time, when a lot of people say that they don't feel comfortable, you still don't really want to take that extra step to get yourself to a better place, because it takes a lot to do that. So that's what you call insecurities in my mind. I don't know what y'all think, but to me, when you feel like that, it's because you are insecure. That's what that is. But I guess we're not supposed to call that out. Jeffrey White says, American Black women don't know what they want, period. It's why men are going abroad to find women to build with. I say that all the time, Jeffrey. Thank you once again for the super chat, Jeffrey. Say it all the time. They don't know what they want. You just complaining, looking for something, and then claim, "Oh, I'll know it when I see it," or "I'll know it when it's there." No, you won't. You won't know it. It's their intuition. "Oh, I don't know what I want, but I'll know it. I'll feel it." No, you won't. No, you won't. That's BS. Pharaoh says that's why she looks like Ursula. Stop. Thank you for the super chat. Oh my God. A mess. Yeah, a lot of these women don't know what they want. You see what other people have and you think you want that. You get a glimpse of somebody else's life and you think you want that. That's it. Let's continue.
We start back on our routine, we're working out, and we push ourselves to get out the house, right? You have to make it a habit. Just like you're dedicated to content, you have to be dedicated to getting out the house. Mm-hmm. So that means once or twice a week, you're going to a bar, you're going to an event, you're going.
But listen, and I'm a content creator too, and I don't like to be outside a lot. That's just how I've been. Even though I do get out with my husband and my kids, and we do things and stuff, I'm really a homebody. So I understand being in your own little bubble, in your own little world. I understand being comfortable there because I'm for damn sure comfortable in my own bubble. I like my surroundings. I like being with my family. I like being amongst my family. I'm not a socialite, as some would put it. I can socialize and I can be out, but I'm not a real socialite. I'm more of a kind of a recluse, a homebody. That's just how I've been my entire life. Even when I was little, I never really wanted to go any place. I wanted to stay home, with my mom and just be at home. That's what was familiar to me and it was comfortable for me. And I'm the same way now. So yes, I do things. I don't just sit. Yeah, I go place. We do stuff, but it's just not. I don't need to be outside every single day. I don't need to be outside. I don't need to go to every concert, every time somebody. My sister is the opposite. She stay going. So we're twins, but we're opposite in a lot of ways. She's the opposite of me. She would like to consider herself a homebody, but she's really not. She likes to go, and there's nothing wrong with that. She likes to go. She's going to this, to that. She stay going. She don't like to, but she tries to tell herself she's a homebody, but she's really not. She's like to social. I would consider her a socialite. She likes to go, and you know what? I just kind of look at her and just see that it's not something that I would like to do. You know what I'm saying? So I understand being a homebody or whatever, but not because of insecurities. It's just I don't like to be out in the streets. I believe there's a lot going out in the streets, and a lot of times you can be more protected and more safe in your own environment where you can control what's going on for the most part. Crazy stuff happens, but at least you can kind of control your own environment, when it's just you and the people versus outside people who you don't know, who could be reckless, careless, and it's just a mixture of everybody out there. That's how you run into more dangers or things happening. But I understand people who are different. I understand some people like to go, like to travel, like to do all that, like my sister. We're opposite in that way. And I love that for her because that's what she wants to do. But a lot of times people don't respect what you want to do, where, if you like to travel and go out and always be gone, blessings to you. Have a good time. Enjoy yourself. But if I enjoy my own comfort in my own home, making my food, baking cakes and cookies and watching movies and playing board games and interacting with my children and my family and us doing things as a family, that's what I like. I like family time. I like doing things. I don't particularly like doing things by myself solo. I like doing things with my husband and my children. I like for us to have the experience. And if I travel, I want to travel as a family. I like traveling, all of us traveling together. I don't particularly want to go travel by myself. That's just not my thing. You know what I'm saying? I want to travel with my family, explore and experience new things, all of us together. I don't really have this thing to travel, me by myself with a bunch of girlfriends. That ain't my thing, but I respect other people's, choices. If that's what you like, that's fine. But I don't know how I got to that. But what I'm saying is, so I understand people being, homebodies. But, if you're not going out because of your insecurities, if you're not going out because you're overweight or whatever the case may be, that's different, And if it's such an issue to where you can't leave the house because of insecurities, then that's definitely something that you have to work on. You know what I'm saying? Let's continue.
Out, you're socializing. So you get more comfortable in those spaces. And after a while, as a content creator.
And what I want to say too, if you're uncomfortable about getting out with your body size and all of that, then the first place you should go to is the gym. That would be my first recommendation, to go to the gym. Because at least if you're overweight and you're self-conscious about that, at least it shows you're putting in the initiative to go and get yourself better. Go to the gym. If you don't go nowhere else, start it out. Keep going to that gym. Keep going to that gym. Then that'll expose you to the outside world. And the more you keep going, those pounds you're going to get less and less. You're going to weigh less and less. And then even the more you go, you should feel more confident about yourself as you continue to lose weight, because going out and socializing and eating and doing all of that and not doing any exercise is only going to make your situation worse. So if you want to do something or start somewhere, don't go out socializing and drinking and eating. Go to the gym. Socialize at the gym. Go to the gym. Work on your body. Keep working on your body, and then until you at a comfortable place, and you won't have that issue. You won't have that insecurity, because that's what that is. Let's continue.
It gets boring. It's always just you. You should want to be around others. Right. You should want to be able to put your phone down and just have a regular conversation that's not about TikTok or not about Instagram. Right. Does that make sense? So,
yeah. Link Johnson says the gym makes them more insecure. Seeing fit people in there brings self-shame. That's where it should motivate you. It should motivate you. That's where you should be motivated. The more you see somebody that's fit around you, it should motivate you to go harder. It shouldn't. You that's where reality and logic comes in. Okay, well, damn, she look great. I'm going to work harder because I want to look great too. Sitting down in your house, big as a house, sitting there feeling sorry because they feel there's a pity party at their homes too. And as when you inside, you crying and eating, feeling hopeless and all of these things, depressed because you don't feel like you could ever lose all of that weight. I watched 600 Pound Life, baby. That was one of my favorite shows. And a lot of those people don't feel that they could lose all of that weight. They feel like once they've gotten to 500 and 600 pounds, that it's impossible for them to really lose the weight. So they just say, to hell with it. I'm just going to keep eating, Charlie. I ain't going to never lose all this weight, so I'm just going to keep eating. Not realizing you got to take it slow. You got to move one day at a time, but you got to be consistent. And consistency is key to you making making any type of change in your life. So it's the mind. You got to change your mindset. You got to get focused on what it is that you want. But a lot of times this body positive movement and all this stuff that they got out here just makes these people comfortable in being in the state that they're in. So we don't need people to make it comfortable. Especially if you're complaining about a certain thing, and if you're insecure about it, then you don't need somebody coddling you and telling you, oh, it's okay to just be 600 pounds. Oh, just you're beautiful as you are. Stay at anybody will love you. No, that's called lies. That's what that's called. Let's continue because we got to move on.
I want you to work on you, Ken. I know you're beautiful. I know you're confident in who you are, but I want you to continue to improve that. Right? So go for your walks, change up your diet, work on you. I think you have a lot of potential. You're a very smart girl. You have a lot going for yourself, but I think you will open up your options 100 times more and get the guy that you think doesn't exist if you drop the weight. I promise you. I promise you, you will.
Girl, don't promise enough.
Thank you so much for all of your advice. I know I actually have a walking pad over here. I'm like, I have this equipment just sitting in my apartment. Let me actually use it.
Do the walking pads have a weight limit? The walking pads have a weight limit, right? Let's continue.
Appreciate you letting me on your platform, and this was great. So I appreciate it.
Shout out to her.
Hopefully please come back before January 1st. I'm putting you on my list. I have a list of women. Okay. Everyone has different amount of weight they want to lose before the end of the year or something they're working on. So I want you to check back in the month of December. Okay. With an update.
Yes, ma'am. I got you.
All right, beauty. Have a good one, doll. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Ken, for coming up. Thank you so much. And
I think if people just would start saying, "Oh, I remember these plus size models had a run in at a club where they wouldn't allow them in because in those clubs, from what I hear, they want certain type of people in the club. They want women to look, the attractive women in there. And so these two girls, while I plus size women, now I think they were cute in the face, but they were big. And they was complaining that they didn't get entry into the club because those men didn't want them big girls in there. And they had a problem with that. Excuse me. And while I don't think people should be discriminated against, once again, it goes back to people's standards and preferences and rules. If they have a club, then they can pretty much make the rules of what they want without it being discrimination. Now, they were saying they were being discriminated again. I don't know if that was the case, but clearly those men didn't want them in there. You know what I mean? Because they have a certain look that they're trying to go for, a certain aesthetic when it comes to their business, because that's a business. And everybody knows when you're running a business, you have to run it a certain way. Right? And so you can't just allow anything. This goes back to that situation where there was a dentist office who had to make a sign. Now, they didn't refuse. Well, they made a sign first to let you know this was a part of their rules that you cannot come into the dentist office in bonnets, in sleepwear, bonnets, pajamas, and slippers. You have to come in with a pants and a shirt on, or a dress, or, pants and a shirt and shoes. If you do not come in with those things on, then we will not see you. People were in an uproar, had a problem with that, and there were mixed feelings about it. I really didn't have an issue with that because this goes back to people having certain standards for their business or for their lives. And I just think I didn't see anything wrong. That's like with schools having dress codes or anybody having a dress code, churches having dress codes, which a lot of these churches, child, they be going there like they're going out to the club. So I don't know. They just do away with the dress code for church, but because it's supposed to come as you are, and they do come as they are in many cases. But you can't argue with somebody's choices or standards. You can either adhere to those standards, or you could just not. You can go the other way. And I think people have gotten so used to just doing whatever they want to do, and people thinking people are supposed to accept it, to the point where you don't want to acknowledge or adhere to any rules. You want to just do your own thing, and that shows in these potential relationships. You don't want to hear anything. I don't want a man telling me anything. You don't want nobody to tell you anything. So that's going to leave you by yourself. If you're a type of person, you don't want to hear any constructive criticism about yourself. You don't want to hear anything, even when you're in the wrong. You just want to be right, and you want somebody just to downplay it and just act like, oh, well, they can't tell you nothing. They can't communicate with you or nothing. But you want them to be the best communicators. You want them to be the most upstanding guys, the most considerate guys. You want them to be the most understanding guys. You want them to be everything that you are not. And that's people are tired of that. It's like, and you talk about somebody being incompatible because you want people to just cater to you and do what you want, but you're not willing to accept anything from them. They can't tell you nothing. You want men to take you on and all your kids, but they can't tell the kids nothing. They can't discipline them. They can't do anything, but you want them to spend money on them. You want them to take, it's like women want men to do the most without any say. Pay my bills, give me good loving, do the most, take care of me and my kids, do all this, put us in the house. You got to level up, stay level up. You can't pay. Let me go on girls trips. Let me do everything that I want, but shut the hell up. Just pay. I'll give you a little coochie here and there, and that's it. And that's it. You can't question me. Don't tell me what to do. Don't try to like test me, because then the manly lady gonna come out, and she might, even try to hit you. Who knows? Like, they masculine in the hell as men. They sit with their legs open like they smoking a cigar. They act like men. You can't say nothing. You just got to accept them as they are, because that's what a man's supposed to do, and not say nothing, or else he's considered sassy. I'm like, man, this is so jacked up. It really is. But this is the nature and the mentality of a lot of women. Not all women, but a lot of them. They really, really have drank the Kool-Aid and really believe that, this is how it's supposed to go. But they're finding themselves single because men don't want to deal with that. Men realize, nah, I can expect something for everything that you're asking of me. You're asking all of this of me. I have to level up. I got to make sure I'm financially stable. I got to make sure I have everything that a woman might want in order for her to want to accept me. So if men got to do all these things, well, women got to do stuff too. Y'all can't just sit back and think that y'all are just princesses and don't have to put in any work to get what it is that you want. Those days are over. And if you've never experienced that, well, you probably won't, because these men are not dealing with that type of stuff. Pharaoh, thank you for the super chat. Once again, says that's why they're mad we're not voting for a gynocratic republic. That too. And I said thank you once again, Pharaoh. And listen, you got a point there, because I think that's the outrage too. Where they can't control men. You can't control how they vote. You can't control what they do, and it is pissing them off. They're really mad about that, because as much as they don't want a man to control them, they like to be the one could be doing the controlling. Thank you, Pharaoh, once again for the super chat. I appreciate you. So it's just a hot mess. And once again, I personally believe that it's more of the women. It's more women than men. And I think a lot of the women are the ones who have to put in the work and the efforts to attract the type of men that they say they want. And as long as they're not trying to do that, then men are looking elsewhere, because men don't want to subject themselves to that type of nature, that type of mindset. They just don't want to do it, and they shouldn't if they don't want to. You shouldn't be. You shouldn't have to feel like you're forced to do something that you don't want. The same way women don't want to be forced to do. They don't want to be forced to cook and clean, which that is a something that you have to do anyway. You have to cook and clean whether you got a man or not. And the majority of them have kids, so you have to cook and clean up after your kids, or do you not do that, child? Because that's a whole nother topic. Because I saw a video of this guy showing this woman's apartment, and baby, it was trashy. So if you living like that, I could see you ain't cooking and cleaning or doing anything, because that place was towed up. So if that's how you living, baby, shame on you. But anyway, let's move on.
Women are choosing celibacy, and it has nothing to do with religious reasons. A lot of you men are not even stumbling blocks. You don't like to plan dates. You don't like to buy flowers. You're not consistent with communication. You disappear out of our life, and then you pop back up, and you're extremely hypersexual. You get bored very easily. You have so many sexual experiences. A lot of you are unstable. You're living off of women, living with your baby mama, living with a girl that you know you don't like, because you're in survival mode, and you won't cut out your distractions so you can get the basic necessity as a grown man: your own car, your own crib, and your own career. You are too distracted. Y'all men literally just want to pull up, smoke weed, do drugs, have sex. That's why I say, women, leave the drugs alone, because a man can conquer you a lot more faster if he can get you high or inebriated. Raise the standard. Clean yourself up as a woman, and you will see how uninteresting a lot of these men are. The enemy is a thief of time. A man will deal with you forever if you allow it. You got to be the one to cut it off. You got to be the one who have the standards and the boundaries, because that's how you get rid of them. No, you're not just going to come over here and lay up with me. No.
All right. So what do you guys think about what she had to say? Now, listen, what she's saying, and I see Mr. Akon says she's describing women. My sentiments, exactly. That's when I first saw it. That's what I said. Child, this sounds like a bunch of these hyenas, these modern women. But the key thing to me is she said, oh, clean yourself up, raise your standards. First off, if you had any standards in the beginning, you wouldn't have to raise them, right? That's red flag. Stay off of drugs. Okay, why is it that your standards are low in the beginning? And if your standards are low and you have to raise them at some point, that shows they were low. So this is why you are dealing with these types of men. Now, listen, the things that she's saying and referring to men, I do think that there are those types of men that are out there. Of course, there are. We can't ignore that. There are those types of men, but it speaks more to the type of guys that a lot of these women have in common. It speaks to the type of guys that these women have subjected themselves to, the types of guys that they have given children to, the types of guys that these women to give their bodies to be in relationships with. It shows you the caliber of men that these women are used to dealing with. Because once again, I'll say, and I say this and people look at me sideways, I've never dealt with a Pookie. And of course, and I might be one of those exceptions because I've never been in a bunch of relationships either. But I've definitely seen them. And I've definitely been approached by them. So if you have standards to begin with, those types of guys you would never be in relationships with them. And so it's like the after effects, the aftermath. After you've been in the gutter, you had no standards because you had to level them up in order to get them. Like she said, stop. It wasn't like you initially were not sleeping with them. You had to stop, realize that you are in the gutter and the men that you're dealing with are in the gutter as well. But the part that they leave out is the fact that they were in the gutter. They bypass and skip over the fact that you're right in the gutter with the gutter dudes that you're dealing with, baby. Y'all on the same level. But after you've got a feeling or intuition, once you've had babies with them, once you've been ran through, now you feel like you're better now. So now you want to level up. This is why it's so mind-boggling when you see these women. It's like, oh, why did you have so you had the first baby by the baby daddy, y'all broke up, right? Yeah, we broke up, okay. Then you had another baby by him. Why did you have another baby with him? Why y'all? Oh, you had another baby from a whole nother dude. Oh, he was trash. He was narcissist. Every man that you deal with had problems. But you never speak to your problems, see? You had problems too. That's why you were sleeping with a bunch of dudes, getting babies, getting pregnant by them, in the gutter right there with them. But somehow your gutter mentality is better than his. Make that make sense. It doesn't make sense. You're there with him. But you feel one day in your mind after you had 4 babies and 4 baby daddies, now you realize I deserve more. Why do you deserve more? What have you done to change your mentality from what it was when you were dealing with these dudes, these gutter snipes, and you was in the gutter, a gutter snipe with him? What changed other than a feeling? What did you do to change your mentality, change your, lift yourself up? What did you do? Because a lot of them aren't doing anything. All y'all doing is having a feeling because you tired, because you done made all these poor choices in the gutter together, and now you're by yourself because those dudes weren't taking you seriously in the first place, and you were not taking them serious. You slept with them, had babies with them, had a good time that everybody looking for, and now you're by yourself trying to raise these kids because now the reality has set in. Now it's expensive. Now it's hard. You can't afford rent. You got all these children. You're struggling. So now you feel like you deserve more. But why do you deserve more when you have not put in anything? You haven't really learned anything, because now you think that you deserve more because you feel it and you're older. And now your expectations are even higher when you have not even leveled yourself up out of that gutter. You're still in the gutter mentally. This is the women that we see on Kendra G show and these shows all the time. They really feel and believe they deserve something that they've never put in the work for. So now the fact that you're tired of dealing with Pookie, now you think you need to I want a boring good man now. Oh, get a what they say, which is insulting, by the way, to say, oh, I need a what they call them. Oh my God, I had the video. What they saying? Oh, go get you a what they call them, man. Which I think is horrible, but they they didn't say a good man, just they say, oh, go get you a I forget what she called them, but now you want somebody to come in and now your expectations are through the roof. When you still that gutter snipe that you were from the beginning, you didn't really change much. And Lord, if you go to college or get a job, that's their leveling up. But you haven't changed your mentality. You still don't know men. You've never been in a serious relationship. All you've been was sleeping around 304 and it up. And then as you got older, you realized, oh, I need to do something because you got to live and you got to take care of yourself. So you had to go get a job. You had to go to school so you can get a job to take care of yourself because nobody else is going to do it with you and your kids. Because the guys you laid up with and tried and had babies with were not responsible men, just like you weren't, though. But all we ever hear is those guys are just irresponsible and they this and they that. But you don't never like to call out the women. The women were just as irresponsible. And this is why you have a situation where these women are looking for the guys who have been responsible and who are doing the right things. They're looking for them to come in, not because they want them, but because they want your finances and they want you to take care of them, period. I don't know no way else to put it because any other way is just spinning it. A corny man, yes. Exactly. Yeah, and that's, to me, that's insulting. Oh, I want a corny man now. You want a corny? Calling him corny is an insult, in my opinion. You have no other qualities that you're looking for in a man other than but disrespecting somebody and calling them corny because you didn't laid up and did all what you wanted to do, reckless, and that was reckless. And now you want a man to come in and just you want something for nothing. You want all of the rewards without the work. You want the benefits without putting in any work, and that's the problem. This is why I don't think women are winning. I think they're losing, and I think they're afraid to acknowledge it. But we see it happening. They're crying on social media, asking for money from strangers. You need money to pay your bills. You're gonna get evicted. All that has something to do with your choices. Bottom line. Jeffrey White says, women talk about struggle love, but they create the struggle. Oh, God. Lord, yes, Lord. Oh, my God. Facts. But you create the struggle. Men now realize that the struggle with them ain't worth it. Oh, my God. Look at Tia Mowry. Now, this woman is well off financially. You know, she does pretty well. Thank you, Jeffrey White, for the super chat. I appreciate you. And the message straight up. She's out here crying still and complaining about being alone when you had a whole husband. But you refuse to work with your husband. So you're going out here looking for something that you thought was going to get better and realizing ain't nothing else here for you. You can't go back now because you done put too much dirt out on these streets on this man when you could have did what y'all could have handled your business privately and not go on a celebration and a graduation tour and even a show talking about your husband. You should have not done that, capitalizing off of your divorce. And now you think that you're going to go out here and it's going to be easy for you to just get another man who was even, anywhere close to what you had, but you didn't appreciate it because she didn't come out and say once again that he did her dirty. Because if he would have, I think she would have talked about it. You go and take these links when there didn't seem to be anything wrong, but the simple fact that you just got tired and bored, the marriage got boring to you, so you wanted to walk away because she said when something doesn't serve you anymore. Those were her words. When I'm not going to stay in a relationship that doesn't serve me anymore. So now you don't feel like you need him. And so you push him to the side. And now you think you're going to get so much better when you could have just worked on your marriage. Doesn't make sense to me. Farrell says, Z, can we still send you vid suggestions through email? Yes. Thank you for the super chat, Farrell. Yes, you guys, and now I would like for y'all to do that too. If you have any video topics or anything you want me to talk about, email me on my Instagram. The information is in the description. That would be the best way to do it. But it's just crazy. But like once again, I think it's up to the women. I do. Some people disagree with that, but that's what I believe. I think it's up to the women to make the changes. And it will give men, because at this point, men have been bashed and put down so much. They don't even feel comfortable. They don't even trust that the women who say they're different, they don't even trust them. So I think women have to make the changes to prove themselves that they're legit and that they're really about really trying to find something serious for the men to actually want to be a part of it. Because otherwise, I don't think men trust these women anymore. They don't, because they've seen too much and they've exposed themselves so much so that these men are going to other countries trying to find other women that they can build families with. It's crazy. Farrell says she couldn't use the stank-assery grad degree. She couldn't use it, Farrell. Wait, she couldn't? You said she couldn't, or she couldn't. Thank you for the super chat, Farrah. I appreciate you. So, a lot of these women talk all this stuff, but they don't, a lot of it, I hear it. It goes in one of my ears and come out the other because I understand a little bit more. We all have room to grow and learn, but, once again, I don't care what nobody say. When you've been in a marriage for as long as I have, you learn a few things. Or in a relationship, when you've been in a relationship with the one person for years, you learn some things. You learn yourself. You learn about the other person. And you can choose to decide whether you want to continue to grow with that person or walk away because you think that you're changing. I do think, as we grow and as we get older, I'm not the same as I was when I was 20. Not quite. I believe that there's things that I've learned for the better with age. And that's a natural progression in life. As you get older, you grow, you learn things, you do things differently, you think differently. I think a lot differently from the way I thought when I was 20. There are some things that are still consistent or constant, but there's also things that I've changed because I've grown. But I don't believe that you can't, you have to leave your husband in order to grow. I think that that's the stupidest thing ever. That's just my thoughts. I don't think that just because you're growing and you realize things about yourself, you're learning yourself. Some would like to say finding yourself, but I'm like, you with yourself all the time. So you can grow and learn things. You don't have to go somewhere to learn and find yourself. You don't have to leave your man to find yourself. If you're having issues in your marriage, you're supposed to work on them. And you can still grow and learn things about yourself and still stay with keep your family together. And I think that's a misconception that a lot of these people like to push because anytime you can make any excuse for your actions that are considered negative, in my opinion, they like to push that. They like to push that to make themselves feel comfortable about their poor choices. And that's just how I feel, because if it was so great and if you felt good about your choices, why would you still be on social media crying and saying you don't want to be alone and all that when you didn't have to be? It's not like he up and left you like y'all said the men back in the day up and left. He said he was going to the stove to get the milk and he never came back. That wasn't her situation. I could see if he left to get the milk and never came back, then I would understand you crying and telling me I didn't want to be alone and I never saw this for my life. But you chose to do it and act like you didn't make the choice. That's what I'm saying. So that's why that super chat was so on point, in my opinion. You create what was it? The struggle of that you complain about, are you the ones who creating it? You create the struggle of, because she's definitely in struggle of mode. You left your husband thinking that I guess you was gonna get your knight in shining armor, somebody way better than what you had, because you felt he doesn't serve you anymore. You think you're better than him now. So now you want to move on, and you thought, a man was just gonna jump right in your lap and take you. You're a single mother now. You don't realize that with 2 kids. And not to mention, you are a celebrity. So people see everything that you do. So you got to understand, men are looking at that. Dang, if you're going to leave this man that seemed like a good dude, I'm pretty sure, once again, nobody's perfect. So there's nothing perfect that people are going to do. And you couldn't work out your marriage with this man you've been with for all these years, and you just left up, broke your home up, and now you're looking for me? Hell to the no. I'm not trusting that. They'll hit it and quit it a little bit and then be out your way. So she gonna have to see that, and I think she's already experiencing it, and she don't like it. No shit. Let's continue.
Time somebody says it's better to wait until you're married before you have kids, people are always like, well, he can still leave you even if you're married. He can still leave you even Duh! The same way you can still die in a car accident even if you have your seatbelt on, but it's probably still a good idea to put that seatbelt on when you get in the car, right?
Right.
Marriage protects you and gives you benefits that being a baby mama does not. Okay? So if you want to be a baby mama, that's your call. You're grown. You can do whatever you want. But stop trying to make women who want to wait until they're married before they have kids sound like they're crazy. Thank you.
Listen, your lives is second than what she just said, because it's a fact. There are women out here trying to shame others, shaming others who say, "Nah, I don't want to have children out of wedlock. I want to be married before I have kids." The same way they shame men for being over 30 without any kids because they want to wait for marriage. They want to have kids with their wives, and some women out here want to have kids with their husbands. But a lot of these women don't want to wait for that. So it's like, oh, you can have a kid because you want to go out and do it the way you want to do it. Fine. Live your life. Do what you want. But don't try to shame others who want to do it a different way. Because everybody don't agree with the sisterhood and this modern woman BS. Everybody don't want to move like that. Everybody want to do what y'all deem is acceptable in this day and age. That's because you have your thoughts. Let other people have theirs, and they shouldn't have to be shamed. Oh, well, you don't need a man to have a baby. Well, some people feel they do need it. Of course, you need a man to have a baby. And if you want a stable household and a stable environment for your child, you want to at least make sure you have a stable man and a stable woman both coming together and hopefully married, and so that you can give your child the best environment that they can possibly have. And as much as people like to say, women like to say, "Oh, I want what's best for my kids." Well, I don't know. Maybe you're not really truthful about that. Maybe you were just saying that because if you really wanted the best for me, I would see a different result here, or I would see you try to do something differently. But if you're out here saying, "I'm a single mother by choice and I chose to have a broken home," baby, I don't think that that's giving your child the best option possible or the best outcomes possible, in my opinion. I'm just saying. Seeing as we see what the statistics are, that should be a red flag to anybody out here thinking, oh, just because you got money no, child still need both parents in the household. And making that choice and then complaining about it, saying, "Oh, these men don't want to step to the plate." No, you clearly didn't want to have that for your child, because once again, it's not about the child, in my opinion. I think a lot of what these women are doing is all based on their own selfish needs and wants. It's not about the children. They care less about the child. They're doing it because this is what they want to do. And that's just it. And if that's what you're doing, just be honest and say that's what you're doing. I don't care about no damn father for my kids. I just wanted the D, and I wanted it raw, and I wanted a baby with him, and to have a connection with him, and to still have tabs on him. And this baby allowed me to do that, and that's it. You're thinking about the future of the child and the child's well-being, or none of that. Because that's what ghetto ratchet mentality. That's how ghetto ratchet mentality thinks. You're not thinking about the ghetto ratchet mentality. Does not think about the future. It does not plan for the future. It does not see the future. It sees right now, because ghetto ratchet mentality means all you can afford is right now. All you see is right now. All you thinking about is right now, and your needs and wants, and that's it. And whatever else happens, you let the chips fall where they may. And then turn around and complain about the outcome of your choices. So that's just what that is, And I agree with what this young woman is saying, because it's true. If you want to go out and just be reckless or do whatever it is you want, that's your choice. But don't complain about the outcome of it. When your child, like I saw that child at the main event place in there with his lesbian mothers, his two mothers, saying he looking at my child with my husband and with his father, and looking at him saying he wish he had a daddy. The child was looking at my husband with our sons saying he wish he had a daddy. Child, I looked, I said, wow, wow. And so that shows clearly you're not thinking about the children. That child said, "I wish I had a daddy." So I'm wondering what do they tell the child when the child asks why I don't have a daddy? What do you tell them? I couldn't imagine. What would you tell them? This is stuff that people don't foresee. This is stuff that people don't think about. You don't think about the children, because it's not about the children. It's about you. It's about you. Like the lady said, it's about me. She says it's about her getting to the D. She didn't care about the rest. She didn't care about getting pregnant. You don't care about having a stable home, raising these kids in a stable environment. You don't care about none of that. You just what you want. Get to the D. Get to the D. That's what they say. So, but just don't complain. Accept the outcomes associated with your choices. That's it. Be happy. If you happy with your 4 kids and 4 baby daddies and you taking care of yourself and your kids are good, lead with that. Look, I'm not trying to look for no man to take care of me, my kids. I don't even want no man because clearly you had enough men and you know it didn't work out. So stop looking for them. Just go live your life and be happy with the outcome of your choices. That's all I'm saying. Don't complain, or either if it's not going so good, don't bash men because all men wasn't responsible for you and your single motherhood. Every man did not knock you up and you know, they didn't force you to become a single mother. That was your choice. But why is it your choices are always pushed onto every man? Every black man is a problem. Every black man is this, when every black man is not that. Every black man is not responsible for your downfall. You can't put that all on every black man. That's all I'm saying. Put it on the ones who deserve it. The ones who you chose, and put it on you. Put it on you. How about that? Put it on you and the man that you chose to have babies with. It's y'all fault. It ain't nobody else's fault. It's the two of you. Put that blame directly on them, on you two. Y'all both was young and dumb. You was out hot in the pants and you wanted sex. He was hot. You was willing to open your legs to give it to him. And he said, okay, I'm going to do this. He young. He don't care. He's irresponsible. You're irresponsible. Y'all two young, irresponsible people who was out here looking for the wrong things, like a lot of people. And y'all went in, you did the do, you didn't protect yourselves properly because you don't have no money. Nobody wants to buy the condoms. Nobody wants to pay for all this stuff. So you just go out and do it, and you think, oh, if I pull out quick, you ain't gonna get pregnant, or you can't get pregnant on the first time, or whatever they be saying, and then you pop up, oh, I'm pregnant. Oh, he like, I can't take care of no baby, and you like, well, what I'm gonna do? Nobody. So you gotta have your mama telling you, oh, you need to have this baby. We're not gonna get rid of it because that's not what we do in this society for the most part. That's what they'll tell you. So some of them will tell you, oh no, so you had a baby, and now he's somewhere off, you know, tweaking because he like, I ain't ready to be no father. Yeah, but you was ready to go out and have sex. And then all you can say, oh, well, one thing why did you go out and get, well, one thing led to another. No, one thing didn't lead to another. Y'all know what y'all was doing. You know exactly what you were doing. And you knew what the potential outcome of that, what that could lead to. But you didn't care. You did it because it's all fun and it's, ooh, I want to do this. And you're hot and bothered and you're getting it going and boom. Now you're a statistic. And even if you did it that one time, you was young and dumb, y'all both were irresponsible. Why does it happen 2, 3, and 4 more times? Tell me that. With another guy similar to the first one. You're getting older. How does it keep happening? This is why I say women are the ones who have to learn. And yes, we all have to learn. But when you're 35, still complaining about men because you made bad choices that led you to be a 3-time baby mama, and you 35, damn near 40 years old, baby, you got to stop blaming others, baby. You got to take some accountability for your actions and for you, and still for you not learning from your mistakes. Because once the first time, okay, I'll give you some mistake. The next time, then that's a willful act. You keep doing the same things over and over, thinking you won't get a different outcome. Thinking you doing the same things. You're creating the same reckless behavior, but now you're becoming more and more entitled. Make that make sense? You're still reckless, but now you're expecting more because you're older. It don't make no sense. It don't make no sense, y'all. I'm just saying. It don't make no sense. It doesn't make any sense. Yep. Facts, proof, evidence, truth is the law, our God of the living. Huge, massive God, the creator creates is balanced system. So God not be injustice. What we put in is what we get back out. That's just what it is. But they hate to accept that. And you want to find somebody who agrees with your mentality and go along with it. And I'm just, and another thing I'll say too is I think a lot of women speak as if they're the only ones who go through stuff. Everybody go through stuff. So you're not special in that way. You're not special. Everybody go through stuff. So there are a lot of people in general, just people, men and women, who have gone through things, worked on themselves, gotten themselves to a better place in life. And they just don't have the room to tolerate bullshit. They don't have the room to tolerate your foolishness. So you gotta take into consideration too what others have been through, what men have been through. Just like women like to talk about, oh, I've been through this and did this happen to me, or I've been through so much. Well, you gotta understand, a lot of people have been through certain things, but they still gotta find a way to move in this world and live their lives and get themselves to a better place. And the one thing about it, like I said, when you've worked on yourself and you've gotten yourself to a peaceful place in life, you don't want nobody to pull you backwards. And you shouldn't allow someone to pull you backwards into a place that's chaos, disruption, and confusion and all of that. No, nobody wants that. So this is why I understand where men come from, because I think far too often men are not considered. A lot of men are never considered. Men are the last ones to be considered, and if considered at all. Women get all of the consideration and they're not doing anything with it because it's made to be comfortable and they're made to be okay with the choice. You go out and get knocked up at a young age. There's people who are out here who will help you and give you things and coddle you. But for men, there's nothing out there for them. So when they mess up, they gotta fix that on their own. They got a man like this. They gotta be a man, no matter how old you are. You gotta go out and establish your life for yourself. Nobody's helping them. So I think that's the difference. I think a lot of and partly too, that's why a lot of women think that it's easy for men to go out here and make all this money, because men don't have the same opportunities that a lot of women have. It's different for men and women. Women could go out here and make money and sit back and condemn men and talk about men, but you're doing OnlyFans. You're a sex worker. So you decide to go out and screw for a living, and now you sitting on a high horse thinking that because you're making money selling your body, that it's easy for men to go out here and make money. Well, clearly it's not easy for you to make money in a normal sense, because you had to resort to being a 304 selling your body. So you had to resort to lessering yourself, lowering your value, and doing something that in otherwise is considered demeaning in order for you to make a substantial amount of money. So why would you have the audacity to turn around and tell men that, oh, they shouldn't be working here, or they shouldn't be doing it, so they should be able to make this kind of money, when you clearly wasn't able to put yourself in a position to go have a legitimate job that pays you good money? You had to resort to selling your body. So it's the audacity for me when I hear women saying that kind of stuff, because I just look side-eyed. I'm like, baby, you clearly couldn't make it because you had to sell your body. And I don't think most men and women want to resort to that. That's like a last resort situation. When you done lost your job and you have no prospects and you don't have no money, then you got kids, then what they used to say this back in the day, well, use what you got to get what you want. And women would tell that to other women. What they were referring to was your body. Their women understand that this is why they say, if you are a woman out here, you shouldn't be out here broke. You shouldn't be out here without. Why? Because they're alluding to the idea that you can always use your body to get what you want. And that's sad, but it's the reality. Because a woman with a vagina has options. They may not be great options, but you have options. A man can't move in that same way. So if you know that you can use your body, I don't think you should. Why would you use that? All these OnlyFans models be ready to criticize a man, talking about you could never make what I make. Well, of course, not in that way. Because what are you going to do? He can't go out. He ain't got a vagina. You do. So you busting it open for everybody doing the sex work, making that money. But look how deplorable that is. Look at the level that you have to stoop to make a substantial amount of money. You should be humble. You should be humble. You should not be out here criticizing men when you start thinking you're high and mighty when you see that money. But look at how you got to get it. You got to use every orifice on your body to get you a substantial amount of money, because without it, you're no better than anybody else. So it's the audacity for me when I see stuff like that. I'm like, baby, you couldn't make it without the sex work. If you was a man, you will probably be broke. I'm just saying. Because you don't have, you lack the fortitude, you lack the ambition or the idea to create something legitimate that will make you a substantial amount of money so you can live a different life. You had to resort to selling your body. And that's supposed to be something we applaud. That's crazy to me. Pharaoh says they diss black men, but when Zaddy deletes one of them in a horrific manner, they want black unity again. That's a major point, Pharaoh. I mean, you got a point there because listen, we've seen the videos, we've seen it's the news that it happens, but they don't like to focus on that. And that's why I say that's a dangerous game that they're playing, going out here telling people, oh, this is what the white man do. They so this or that. And you go out there and subject yourself to that. And then it's unfortunate, though. It's unfortunate, but that's what happens. Thank you, Farrah, for the super chat. Farrah also says that's why OnlyFans empire is falling. It is. It really is. And they be crying. Thank you once again, Farrell. They be on there crying to my, oh my God, well, how I'm going to pay my bills. Well, I mean, figure it out. Y'all are all educated, right? Y'all so smart. Y'all better than the average man. So won't you figure it out and do something special because you're special and figure out how you can take care of yourself without it resorting to you selling your body. Since it's so easy. It's so easy. Oh, you can do this and do that. Okay. Well, do it then. If it's so easy, y'all should never have a problem. Y'all shouldn't be getting evicted. Y'all shouldn't be out here struggling. You should have it made. Every black woman, I'll say this, every woman, because it's not just black women. Every woman who says that, you should be rich. You shouldn't have no financial difficulties. If that's the case, you should have this made in the shade. It's so easy. But that's how some of these women talk. So I just think a lot needs to be done. And I think women are at the center of it all. And I think women have a lot of changes that they need to make in order to just be better for themselves and their children so they can give their children a different perspective and not continue this cycle of this, I don't need a man, I'm a single woman boss chick, I don't need a man type of mentality, that you can maybe offer them something different so that they won't have that same outcome. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And I just think that yeah, definitely women are not without faults, and they can definitely do way better than what they're doing. And I'm not just talking about financially, mentally, physically, every area, because in every area, we clearly see that there needs to be a lot of work. The way they think, their insecurities, the mentality, all of it can use some work. All of it. The way you think, how you see the world, all of it needs to change. And so until that happens, it's going to be the same old, same old. So listen, y'all, I'm going to wrap this up. Thank y'all once again for being here. Shout out to everybody in the building. Shout out to everybody watching, everybody who supports the channel, you guys. I think and appreciate y'all so much for being here and being supportive. Make sure you guys hit the like button on your way out if you haven't already. And share the stream if you can. Make sure you are watching the videos that are posted on the channel, you guys. To continue to support the channel in that way. Like the video, share, and do not forget to hit that notification bell to be notified when I upload new content or go live. All right. So yeah, thank y'all once again. Y'all, I will be doing panels. I'll let you guys up to give your 2 cents really soon, just not yet. So just stay tuned for that. And subscribe to my second channel if you haven't already, y'all. Go ahead and subscribe to the second channel if you haven't already. That's like my backup channel. So make sure you subscribe to that one as well if you haven't already. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Thanks to everybody who gave super chats and cash apps. Thanks for the support. Everybody who liked the stream. Everybody who gave, who showed up. Everybody who chatted, gave a comment. I appreciate all of you guys. I thank you so much for continuing to rock with me. I appreciate y'all. And I will see you guys really soon. All right. So y'all be safe. Enjoy the rest of y'all weekend. And I will see you guys really soon. All right. Bye. Mwah.